If you've been following the news lately, you know that Cuba's regime is on its last leg. That means a new age in Cuba for economic opportunities and development, and a new age for travel and tourism as well. It also means that Dominican Republic, my native country and where I live, needs to be ready to adapt and compete. Maybe not immediately, but soon enough. How soon? Well, for example, the U.S. Department of Transportation just approved commercial flights between the U.S. and Venezuela. And it's only been like 3.5 months since Maduro was escorted out of the country. Dominican Republic still has an advantage, and it has long been the premier tourist destination in the Caribbean. It's already established and has one of the largest tourism infrastructures in the region. This includes over 150 all-inclusive hotels and resorts and major airports with strong international connections. Destinations like Punta Cana, for example, are highly developed. So even if Cuba opened fully, it would likely take many years for Cuba to match that level of tourism capacity. However, I'm not saying that all hope is lost for DR, but regardless, I believe the winners, besides the airline and hotels, are travelers as well if Cuba opens fully. Cuba would likely experience a massive tourism surge, especially from the United States. American travelers have long been curious about visiting Cuba. That initial surge could temporarily pull some tourism demand away from the Dominican Republic. Some, but not all. Cuba almost certainly, I'm willing to bet, will attract major international investments in hotels, resorts, and infrastructure. Cuba has beautiful beaches, colonial cities, and a unique culture. Also, many tourists are curious about Cuba but have had limited access to it to this day. Some tourists currently choose the Dominican Republic simply because it's a highly accessible Caribbean destination, but then might start going to Cuba instead. Places like Varadero and Havana could become strong competitors to Dominican destinations such as Punta Cana and Santo Domingo. I know this because I've been to both cities, Havana and Varadero. Varadero is beautiful. Cuba might attract more cultural and historical tourism for music, architecture, and the classic cars, while the Dominican Republic dominates the all-inclusive beach vacation market. For now, as we all know, Cuba, it's an island, the biggest in the Caribbean. So it's huge and has roughly 3,570 miles of coastline versus Dominican Republic's 800 miles. That's a big difference, and that's a lot of beaches, my friends. However, the development will not happen overnight because Cuba still has to have the infrastructure to even consider being a competitor. I'll say give Cuba about 2 to 3 years, then we'll see how tourism there evolves. Personally, I'm getting in line for another trip to Cuba because I want to see more of it. Okay, I liked it there. I enjoyed it when I visited. Varadero is beautiful, but I definitely want to see more. All right. So what do you all think? Is DR in trouble? Where will you go? Share that in the comments. Thank you all. And just give me a hand and subscribe. All right. I appreciate it. Hit that like button. All right. That'll be all for now. Share it. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, just use the comment section. Thank you all for your support. Thank you again. And when you go to Cuba, safe travels, my friends.